Good morning, everyone. It's Kay Francis, your host for It Is What It Is, or then again, Is It? And especially today because guess it's back, and I'm delighted. Tracey Jones, our own humorist, that is so well received. So many good hits. People listen to her and they love her, obviously. And we love her. So we're going to start. I'm going to turn the show over to her. I'm not going to say much at all. I know you have to about that. So here we go. Tracey Jones.
Hello. It's nice to be back. I want to share with you, it's a real life story. I'm going to take you back to January of 1990.
Wow.
I was working in the food service industry, and our largest food service distributor had purchased another food service distributor in Lexington, Kentucky. I was based out of Knoxville, Tennessee. And my job on this particular day is to drive to Lexington, Kentucky, take some frozen entrees, some chafing dishes, and I'm going to feed this new customer of ours lunch. I get up and I am going to dress for success on this day. I put on my suit, which is a jacket, skirt, nylons, high heels, and I head off to work. I get all the frozen entrees, put them into the back of my car, the chafing dishes, and I head out for Lexington, Kentucky. Well, on this particular day, it had snowed just a little bit overnight, but no big deal. There's no snow on the roads and everything's fine. I'm on I-75 and I cross into Kentucky, and I'm in the middle of nowhere, Kentucky, when I have a tire blow out. And I'm like, this is not good. So I pull over to the side of the road and I'm weighing my options. Now, for those of you who are alive in 1990, and for those of you who weren't, we didn't have cell phones. And even if we'd had cell phones, there was not going to be any cell phone service where I was located. So I'm like, well, should I sit here and wait for maybe a state trooper? What should I do? And I'm like, I have one big problem. In January of 1990, there was a female serial killer on the loose, killing truck drivers on I-75. Oh,
Do you remember?
yes, her name was Eileen Warnos, but at this point in time, they had no idea where she was or who she was. And I'm thinking, but I dress for success. I have a suit on. I have nylons. I have high heels on. And so I'm like, no, I can do this. I have changed a tire before. I am woman. Hear me roar. I get out to change this tire. So I get out and I pack all this stuff into the trunk of the car. So it all has to come out. 5-pound things of frozen entrees onto the ground, the chafing dishes onto the ground, my suitcase onto the ground. And I'm getting really irritated though, because of that little bit of snow on the lid of the trunk of the car, it keeps coming down, bashing me in the. And I'm like, but I get it all out, and I'm like, okay, need to get the jack out. So I go to pull the jack out. It won't budge. It's under this piece of metal, and I can't get it out. I work with it and I work with it. No getting it out. And as luck would have it, no good Samaritan is taking pity on me and stopping to help. So I'm like, I got this. It's a company car. I know, but I got this. There's an owner's manual in that glove box. So I get it back in the car and I get the owner's manual out and I'm looking through it to find that page that's going to tell me how to change this tire and get that jack out. And I get to that page and I read the instructions for getting the jack out. And verbatim, it said, remove jack. Well, I would if I could. That wasn't helpful. So I'm like, okay. what's plan B? I can sit here on the side of the road and possibly grow old and gray, or I can take some action. What would that consist of? Oh, I know. I'm going to get out, put everything back in the trunk of my car, including the spare tire. I didn't have to worry about the jack because it was still in there. And I'm going to limp down the shoulder of the road till I come to the next exit. Okay, that's the point. So, of course, the lid of the trunk is bashing me in the head, and I'm probably saying some pretty bad things to it. And I get in the car and I start limping down the shoulder of the road. I mean, I was feeling pretty bad about the fact that the rim probably wasn't going through this, but it was a company car. So here I go. And but that plan was foiled by a bridge with no shoulder. And I looked and I tried to decide, can I get out in the right-hand lane on Interstate 75 at what's now 9:00 in the morning without causing a serious accident? And I assessed that no, you could not. So, okay, I am not going to get into this. I am woman, hear me roar. I get back out of the car. I start unloading all the stuff out of the trunk of the car. The lid of the trunk is bashing me in the top of the head. And I'm like, "Brr." But this time, I did put the tire at the rear of the car on the left-hand side so that people coming up would realize I had a flat tire. And maybe some poor soul was going to have pity on me and stop and tell me how to get that jack out of the trunk of the car. So, and I'm kind of standing there giving it, I'm dressed in a suit. I have nylons and heels on. And I'm thinking, and I was young, and I'm thinking, somebody's going to care. And no one did. So, okay. I've been down this road before. I need to do something additional to figure out how to get the jack out of the trunk of the car. And my solution to that problem was to actually climb in the trunk of the car. So I am standing on I-75, wearing my suit, my nylons, and my heels, standing in the trunk of the car, trying to get, and sometimes probably been over in the trunk of my car, trying to figure out how to get that jack out. I thought if I just got a closer look, it would come to me. And I'm actually standing in the trunk of the car, looking at the traffic passing me by with my hands on my hips, going, I don't know what to do next. When a semi-truck pulled off the road behind me, and the nice man got out, and his first words to me were, "You're not that serial killer, are you?" And I'm like, "No, I'm a woman wearing a suit, nylons, and heels."
I have to say, one of the amazing things about you is your ingenuity and your ability to. I've never changed a tire. I'd be under the tire. Really. It's just you're on the spot. You know what to do. You do things that a lot of us women didn't learn to do and should have, but we didn't. And that's amazing to me.
Well, growing up in what we'll call rural areas, it's always good to know how to change a tire because you might actually be there for days before somebody else travels down that road. But yes, he changed my tire. I went on to Lexington. Lunch was about 2 hours late.
They really appreciated your food.
I guess I highly suspicion they didn't actually wait for me, that they just snacked mid-afternoon. But it was a learning experience, and I was like, that's what I call truly bad timing. Truly bad timing. But I've also had other bad encounters with automotive vehicles. My husband, he came to me one day. He was in love with our driveway. It is a gravel driveway. It's about 350 yards long. It's very long. It winds, it goes uphill. It has boulders off to the side. And he always had to keep it pristine. And he had come up with this railroad tie with 2 big eye bolts he put in it and a rope, and he would put it around the trailer hitch of our little truck, and he would grade the driveway that way. And I have to say it works. It worked. It worked fine. But he came to me one day. Now, this husband has Parkinson's. So he has mobility and balance issues. And he came to me one day and told me that he thought he could do a little bit better if I would drive the truck, and he was going to stand on that railroad tie so he could get a more even distribution of the gravel.
A little bit of flexion, isn't it?
To which I said, "You're crazy. You'll end up with a broken leg or dead. We're not going to do that." So that was all it was said. And a few months later, on a Saturday morning, he announced to me that he was going to drag the driveway and wanted to know if I wanted to come with him. Well, I didn't. I probably, I'm thinking, I might rather have my toenails removed than to participate in the dragging in the driveway. But I had to be a good sport. So I said, okay. So we go out, and he's backing the truck up to his big railroad tie with the eye bolts and the rope, and putting the rope around the trailer hitch. And I'm just watching all this. When he starts the truck, and I'm thinking, okay, I should get in. But I realize that our big 75-pound dog is sitting in my seat. He's in the driver's seat. And at which point he says, "Just get on." And I was like, "Excuse me?" And he said, "Just stand on the railroad tie and hold on to the tailgate." Well, I think this is a temporary thing. And I'm like, okay. So I do that. Next thing I know, he's dragging me down the driveway and yelling, move from one side to the other so that you could distribute the gravel more evenly. And I'm like, and we're headed downhill.
It's 300 some yards.
Oh, yeah. And there is this one little area with like a boulder in the driveway. It doesn't stick up. But let me tell you, when that railroad tie hits that, it's like skating on ice. And I'm thinking, how did this happen? Why am I here?
I hate to tell you the answer.
And the dog is sitting in my seat. And I'm like, no. So we get down to the end of the driveway, and the truck stops, and he has to turn it around. And we start to head back. And I said, "No, you need to get the railroad tie closer. It's killing my back." And he said, "No, it'll get better gravel distribution this way." And I said, "I don't think so, because I won't be on it." So he did give in to that and got the railroad tie a little closer. And I think, when I get back to the top of this hill, we're done. And we start back up the hill when he starts telling me that he's looking in the rearview mirror, telling me how I'm doing. And I said, stop. I said, "You really think so?" I said, "You're not going to tell me that by looking in the rearview mirror. You're going to get out of the truck and come back here and take a look at how well I'm doing." And he said I was doing a fine job and kept right on going. We got to the top of the hill, and needless to say, we never had to do that again. And I was like, "You got your one and only trip out of Tracey." And I was still kind of mesmerized by the fact that, or just amazed at the fact that he would, after me saying, "No, I'm not going to let you do that. You might break a leg or something," he had no concern for me. And so I told a couple ladies I worked with, and after that, they all called me the drag queen.
I love it.
So you see what I mean? Great advice. Always practice safe habits when you're near automobiles. They can be hazardous to your health. You can make a fool out of yourself standing in the trunk of your car in your suit, your nylons, and your heels. Or, I just wonder if any of my neighbors have video of that particular episode of dragging the driveway. I could be famous in my belly.
Oh, somebody been filming that.
Oh, well, luckily, all these things happened before cell phones. Or I might be an internet sensation.
Talk about having an audience.
The whole world.
Exactly.
Amazing.
Amazing.
Well, life is amazing.
It is. It is, but yours is even more. Well, I'm glad I'm not in therapist mode because, there's so much I could interject.
Yeah, with being drugged down the driveway on a railroad tie. Yes. I do realize that borders on crazy.
Oh, don't worry about it. I like that kind of crazy.
Well, I just couldn't believe it was all happening. I just kept thinking, I thought I was going to ride in the truck for some boring trips up and down the driveway. I had no idea. Not until I saw the dog in my seat that something was not right.
Well, tell me one short story before we have to stop. Well, you could just sit and talk to the audience. And what I mean by that is, let me tell you a little more about her. Please tune in to the one she did for us on Healing is with Humor. Do I have the title right?
I think it is Healing with Humor.
And it's all really amazing. I had done one on self-care and on, when people are caregivers. It should never be family, but it was always Tracey. Of course, it's like, dragging the thing out of the driveway. But the point being is that it was many years, and I'm not going to go over, just go back and get it, Healing with Humor. It's an amazing story of her life as a caregiver, not professional, strictly from the heart. And that what could be a better way, except they don't recommend it because you're emotionally attached. That's why they say it's better if you have, somebody not emotionally involved. But she says yes to her husband all the time on these crazy adventures. Why will you, she? But this is the kind of stuff this gal does that she doesn't talk about. She just does it. And I can tell you how many times I had laughed with her. I mean, every time she comes, it's just a pleasure having her. And we enjoy it every single time. And we're grateful for you. And please send comments because I'm trying to get her to send one of these to America's Got Talent. In fact, this one wouldn't be so bad either. So think about it. Send me some comments and let's see how many people think I'm right on about that. Would that bother you? Oh, no, I forgot to ask.
No, that'd be fine. I mean, I have just found everyday life is very humorous. I don't care where you go or what you do. I mean, you may be driving down the road and see some woman in a suit, nylon, and heels standing in the trunk of her car. And if you fail to laugh, I will feel truly bad for you.
Oh, well, that's the perfect end. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're just a sweetheart. And so with that, always end the same way. Always keep your faith. Never give up hope. And know when to let go. Have a great day and God bless.